Hi everybody. Today we are going to be designing a backhoe. So something similar to this. Some of you might not call it a backhoe, something like an excavator, but at the end of the day it's still digging dirt. So what I like to do when I go to design something that already exists is I just look up images of it and I find one that I think I could design and I could use as sort of inspiration. So I picked this one because it's nice, it's simple, and it was actually done inside of another CAD program called SketchUp. So to start, I'm going to make an Onshape document, call it Backhoe. I already did this, but you can do it as well. And now I'm going to go ahead and make the arms for this. So I'm going to go click Sketch, click on the front, come over here, click Front. Now you can see it. The way I like to make arms and things like that is I'll start with a circle, that'll be the pivot, and then I will draw a line and make it a construction line. Remember, that doesn't affect the sketch at all. I'll pull it out here, and then I'll put another circle at the end. So let's say we want all of our pivots to be 1 inch. This is going to be a pretty big backhoe. Then what I want to do is I want to click the equal sign over here, and I want to click that circle and this circle. So now they're both 1 inch. And you see this one is still blue, and that's because I can change this length here. And something you notice when you look at these arms, especially if we start with this base one, it kind of curves, right? It's not a straight line. So we've got some flexibility to make something kind of cool here. A good way to start is we're going to go ahead and make another circle, make it a construction, and then we'll just pull it out here, and then we'll do something similar right here. And what that means to us, is that the closest the edge of our arm is ever going to get is this circle. So I like to make this, we'll call it 1 inch away. So this is going to be pretty big, and I'm going to click these two and I'm going to make them equal to each other. So an advantage to doing this is basically that when the arm is moving or when there's a lot of weight on it, it's not going to break through because it's got all this material around it. So now we want to make some kind of nifty shape. And one of the easiest things to do, well actually, I was going to make it symmetric, but let's go ahead and make it asymmetric. So what we'll do is we'll click line, we'll click on this circle, and we'll bring it out, and then we'll click and bring it over to this circle, and then we'll hit exit. So what I want to do initially is I want to click this circle and this line, and then click on tangent, and that makes it tangent as you can see here. What that means is just that this just barely touches the edge of that. It's an infinitesimally small point, but at that point the slope of the circle and the slope of the line are actually the same. So what we can do is drag this around, and actually you need to do it over here too. So I'm going to click this one, I'm going to click the circle, then I'm going to click tangent. So now I can drag this line along, and it's always going to be tangent, nice and pretty. And then what I want to do is I want to make it to where it's basically the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to click the line again, click on my circle, somewhere over here, then click somewhere over here. Okay, I'm going to make this and this tangent, then I'm going to make this and this tangent. And you notice an issue. This line is different than that line, and that doesn't look that good. So I want to make these two lines parallel. So what I'll do is click this line and this line, and then I'll click this button right here, parallel. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this one, parallel. So now when I move this, my arm kind of moves as a whole. And this can be kind of done at your discretion. There's no right answer here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say that this point is going to touch this line right here. And one thing you might have noticed by now is that it doesn't matter when you're making a constraint, which is what these are right here. It doesn't matter the order that you click things. So, oh, I messed it up. So if I undo, and I hadn't done this yet, there's several ways that I can do this. I can go and click coincident, then I can click my line and my point, or I can undo that again, and I can go and click my line and my point and hit coincident. I can undo it, and I can hit my point, then hit coincident, then hit my line. You get the point. There's a lot of ways to do it, and it's really flexible. So let's go ahead and make a length for this. So we're going to go over here and hit dimension. I can just click on this line, and I can say I want this to be 2 feet long. It's a pretty big section. So now I get to pick where this falls and how my shape looks. And in reality, it's kind of arbitrary, just up to you and whatever your personal preference is. So I think what I want to do is, let's say that I'm going to hit dimension. I'm going to say that this point is 1 inch above that line, and I'm going to say this point is, oops, click on these two. I'm going to say that this is like 8 inches away from that one. So now this is pretty constrained, right? But it's not filled in, so that means that this is still an open structure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on arc. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. So click on the first point over here, then click on the second point, and then just kind of move it randomly. And then what you want to do, and if you notice, every time I finish doing a sketch item, I hit escape, and that's why it comes out of that view. See, like, I go that, then that, and I click. I'm still in this mode for arcs, so what you have to do is hit escape and get out of that. I'm going to click on these and delete them. So this should be right here, so what I'm going to do is click on that one, click on my arc, and then click on my circle, and I'm going to click coincident. You also could click concentric. That just means that the center point is the same, but I just wanted to click that. And over here, I'll show you another way to do it. So what you can do is click back on the circle. My click works. And then you see how construction is highlighted. Now I'm going to click on construction again, and it becomes a circle. But there's still this like weird part right here that I want to get rid of. So I'm going to click on trim right here, and I can trim that part off and that part off, and that works. So now there's one more thing that I want to add. I don't want this to be a straight corner right here. What you'll find when you design things is that hard corners like that are actually weaker than curved and rounded corners. So there's a nifty tool right here. It's called Sketch Fillet. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to click on my 2 lines. And that'll give me a number. So 0.25 inches, that's really small. What if I said 3 inches? So that's a little bit bigger. And I can click the same right here, and it'll automatically make it 3 inches. So hit escape, and I think that looks pretty good. It's a cool looking arm. So now I'm going to go and hit the check mark. And I want to extrude that so I can see what it looks like. So I'll click extrude, and let's say we make this 3 inches wide, because this is the base. It's got to be pretty strong. So, and I click enter. And if you notice on some of these backhoes, it's like a small pocketed area. It's just basically where they're removing material, and what that does is it doesn't affect the strength so much, but it does save a lot of material. And there's actually a cool thing that we can use for that. It's called shell. So I'm going to click on shell, I'm going to click on this, and it might not actually work that well given that, but what you can do is change the depth of this. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong thing. I lied. Ignore that. That was the wrong button. We'll come back to the shell in the next video. And just to show you ways that you can edit a sketch after they're done, if you notice these 2 lines aren't parallel and these 2 lines aren't parallel, it's kind of like an arc, and so it looks a little bit different than what I have here. And so if I wanted to mimic that shape, and I've designed this already, and to say, oh, it's not what I want to change it, I can double click on sketch again, come back here to the front, and click on this button called show constraints. And so that's going to show me all of those little constraints I made that turn this from a blue sketch to a black sketch. And the ones that I want to get rid of are the parallel. So this is the first parallel. I can just select it, and then I hit delete. And then what you'll notice is one of them can move again. And there was another parallel right here. Select it, and I'll hit delete. So now this entire thing can move again, and we can make it what we want. So let's do this. Let's say that it's still going to be on a line. So I'm going to unclick show constraints because it's annoying. I'm going to click on this one right here, that center point, and that center point right here. That's the center of that arc, by the way. And then what I can do is I can click on my line and click on this curve, and hit this button that's called normal. And what that does is it just makes it it's like a straight edge from it, like a 90 degree. And so now I can change this, and it looks kind of alright. So I'm going to go ahead and change the length for this, and let's just make it 5 inches. So it looks a little bit better. You know, kind of curved, but it still works. And we're not going to worry about pocketing it yet. So there you have it. There's the first arm segment of our backhoe.